And there's a book called Marketers Are Liars. And what they talk about is essentially how you need to create your marketing content in a way that makes the consumer lie to themselves about why they need it, right? And so what you're seeing is just really clever marketing by these chicks. They must have teams because they don't have the brains for it, clearly. You know what I mean? But
Andrew Tate.
But like, yeah. But here's another thing. Like think about like girls. You know, you ever see those meme videos and stuff that they'll pop up where a girl's pulling out a measuring tape and it's 12 inches long. And she's like,
yeah,
and she shrinks it to 9 inches. Nope. 6 inches. No way. 3 inches. Thumbs up. You know, and every micro penis dude out there is like, that's my fucking babe. She wants me, and they sign up and they pay money. It's total marketing strategy, bro. You know what I mean? They're going after people emotionally and mentally, bro, and they're giving them a reason to convince themselves why they need to do that. It's actually genius. Right, welcome back to another episode of Illegal Culture Brands Red Tape Talk. I'm your host, John Ostos, aka Illegal CEO, and I'm here with my two counterparts, Dion, 2 Cup Larry, and Cody, Big Meat Mauk. What is up, fellas?
I got 2 cups, Cody. All right,
I was checking.
I got them.
We're gonna have to strip you of that name pretty soon.
Yeah. Dude, I know you just get nervous when I'm sitting this far away from you.
We're just gonna have to call him
I don't like it.
Dion Will.I.am Larry.
Yeah, that's fine. That's kind of a taken name, but all right.
So you got some fights coming up, huh, D?
Yep, some good UFC fights. We got, well, I guess you guys know the top 2. So it's
Paddy the Baddie
versus Michael Chandler.
You see that one where he just locked down like 8 Marines in a row back to back in like some spar, like some training video he just did recently?
See that.
It's all over the internet.
I saw him choke out this dude that was talking trash to him on the internet and almost like choked the life out of him.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. No, this other one was just a handful of Marines all wanted to try him out, bro, and one after the other,
I feel like
he locked them all down.
That was a while ago, too.
Yeah. Oh, that's wild.
Yeah,
but
he's a bad dude.
He was fighting.
Definitely good.
He's really good. Yeah.
He doesn't take his diet or like stuff like that very serious at all until it's time to fight, and then he just locks in.
I'm curious about how he would do against Chandler, being Chandler's such a really good wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting.
And he's a diehard fighter, too. Like, even when he loses, he goes down swinging. Man,
yeah, but that's the problem, and that's what Paddy's expecting, is that he's going to be willing to go down swinging, and he wants him to do that.
Yeah.
I think Paddy needs to he wants to have a battle, I think, because he's been known as, like, the boring fighter, and he wants to step up. Like, he wants to become more of that guy.
Yeah.
So he's probably looking at going toe-to-toe with Chandler.
I think it's kind of weird how Michael Chandler stays so lean.
He's carnivore.
Is that what it is? He's carnivore? Yeah, because it just doesn't seem like it's ideal for him. But in the fight game, I guess you got to do what you got to do, whatever feels best. So,
I mean, he looks good.
Sure. Yoel Romero looked good too, but he always gassed out in fights.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, yeah, that's true. Chandler does carry a lot of muscle.
For
how tall he is.
Yeah, he's tiny. So I just find that very odd. I feel like that's probably not the best like shape for his body as a fighter. Yeah. But as a wrestler, I mean, sure, you can do that all you want. But also as a wrestler, that's got to
be hard for. I mean, like guys that could just put on muscle so easily. That's got to be hard for him.
It's all about starving yourself. That's what the sport's all about. It always has been, always will be. Yeah. Unfortunately, the main event is Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez, and Diego's a bad dude.
I like Diego a lot. Yeah, man. He's so unique too. It's crazy. It's
going to be interesting. I really don't want Volk to lose because Volk was.
If Volk loses, he's probably out of that GOAT status, huh?
He's done. I mean, I don't know what else he will do. He's fought for the belt like 4 times. Had the belt.
Would this be a 3rd loss in a row?
I think so because he lost to
Islam.
To Makhachev. Islam and also the other guy that just vacated the belt. I'm gapping his name right now.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but I like Volk. He was always a machine before he started getting beat. He was just like unstoppable. He doesn't stop throwing strikes. He just keeps going with like the same power, same energy. He doesn't like fade away like a lot of fighters do. So,
is he a Polish guy?
He looks like it. I give you that. Couldn't tell you for sure.
Volkanowski. That sounds Polish.
Yeah, and he's bald and just like what you kind of expect for a big Polish guy, Polak.
Oh, so I sent you guys that article. So UFC is pissed, and then ESPN is also pissed. So UFC is pissed, obviously, because everybody keeps having issues with streaming.
Yeah.
When they first switched, and I remember Duff came over to watch it at my house. We were watching what the hell is it? Crazy Sean Strickland and Driscus, the first one, and it was like, it was so glitchy.
Yeah,
it was so glitchy.
I remember that.
And I was like, what the fuck? I kept like Googling. I thought there was something wrong with my connection or something.
Weird.
And everybody was having issues.
Yeah, everyone was complaining.
Everybody was having issues. And then fast forward to just recently, they're still having issues.
Yeah.
Like they cannot keep up. And so UFC's pissed about their streaming service, and then ESPN is pissed because the pay-per-view numbers, I guess, are way down.
It's because people are streaming it illegally.
Well, that, and people are pissed off that the streaming service sucks so bad. Like, why would you want to pay for a service where you just get half-ass quality?
And they up the price, and it's like, and you have to pay for ESPN first in order to even get the access to the pay-per-view fights. It's like, I don't want to see the fight night fights. The fight night fights aren't good. If you're not a diehard like UFC mixed martial arts
that's
advocate,
not your thing. You're not gonna watch them all the time.
There's nobody wants to spend $90 bucks.
I mean, people who buy tickets live don't show up until the fucking main events, bro. You know what I mean?
Except for Theo Bonnie.
Hey, he's coming to Fargo.
Is he?
He's doing the Fargo Dome in June 21st.
No way.
Theo Von is. Yeah. Theo Von's. I looked at the tickets today. I was gonna buy some. They're like $100 and like something bucks.
Yeah, I go to that.
Yeah, Theo Von, June 21st, bro.
We should go.
I know, I'm down.
That'd be a lot of fun.
That shit will be hilarious,
bro. Man.
What day is that?
It's a Saturday.
Oh, it's Saturday?
Yeah.
I get my wisdom teeth out on June 6th, so we can go crazy.
When is Dalton's wedding? Is that the 14th?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I don't know.
Gotta check that.
See if it's in my calendar.
Gotta check that, son.
That would be fun. That'd be a lot of fun. I saw a post that said that that UFC was going to go with Netflix next year.
Yeah.
Is that what your post said?
They're waiting for this contract to expire and see if they can come up with a deal for Netflix. I'm kind of curious on how that would go, though.
You'll have to pay an extra price to get the pay-per-views.
Yeah, so it's the same thing. It's just a better streaming service.
You think Netflix is better based on what they've done so far?
Well, I would think that they're going to pump a lot of money into making sure that they don't have the same debacle as the Tyson-Paul fight.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they've done other streams. Like the football stuff was fine, I think. I remember, like over Christmas or whatever holiday it was.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. Like, I don't care. As long as, like, no one wants to pay $80. That's why people don't pay for pay-per-view for boxing anymore. It's like, no one wants to pay $80 to see only two guys they know fight.
Yeah.
You know, like it just doesn't, you don't know any of the other guys. They just have.
Yeah, and plus, like, I was doing it like every fucking weekend for a while there, and I'm just like, this is absurd, bro. And then you get a horrible fucking service when you're trying to watch the damn fights. And it seems like by the time it gets to the main event, it glitches the worst. Because you know that's when everyone's finally tuning in too, just for that main card, bro. And it's always the worst at that point. It's just like, this is not worth $80 for like 4 fights.
Mm-hmm. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. So
I guess I didn't think the fights they weren't, I mean, the cards haven't been that great either.
No, nothing's been too crazy. So I don't know. Like this one I'm buying, I'm okay with buying at home. When you got a decently stacked card.
They don't really have those guys anymore.
Yeah, all of them hold out.
John Jones, but he's
holding
on
out.
His way out.
He's holding out until he can get money.
Yeah.
But that's the UFC's problem, is they don't want to pay these guys.
It's gonna bite him in the ass.
I don't think he cares.
Nah, you
don't think he cares?
His family's got money.
Yeah, but his legacy though.
Who's he gonna fight?
If he cared about his legacy,
he doesn't care about Tom Aspinall.
Aspinall will probably crush him too.
He does not care.
I think he does.
The only way that can affect his legacy is negatively. No one.
That's what I'm saying. He's like holding out for a bigger paycheck for Tom Aspinall, but holding out is going to hurt him because he's getting older.
If he does,
you better believe that he cares about that record.
I don't think he cares about fighting Tom Aspinall, though. If somebody else comes along better, I think he would be happier to fight them.
Who's going to come along better?
I saw
He's
one.
still undefeated.
I saw a post that said Francis Ngannou's contract is up very soon here, and that the UFC could snag him.
There's no way.
And then they could fight. That would be a bigger fight.
Dana is I don't know Dana, but from my reading about it, that relationship is toast.
I could imagine.
He said that he's never coming back.
I could imagine because he made a lot more money elsewhere, so it wouldn't make sense. But for a one-fight contract, he could do it. You
Even
never know.
Francis, I mean, isn't he getting older too?
Two old dudes that were some of the best at what they do. One punching, one everything else. Be great to see. He'd get wrestled so fast, and it wouldn't be a good fight.
I think that the talk is so much on Tom Aspinall that I would rather see that one.
Yeah, I don't think Francis would be a great fight at all. He can't wrestle, but I don't know. Let's talk about.
I wish that he would just make a deal and do it rather than wait.
Waiting means nothing for him anymore. Like he should either just be done or
because he's going to get into the the realm of I guess how old is he? 30,
he's old.
38. 30.
He's getting old. Sorry guys. He's getting old.
For the fight game, yeah, it's a whole different. You age out of that shit.
I mean, what's his face? Stipe. He was like 42 or something like that.
Yeah, living a double life, being a firefighter. Did you guys have brackets at all for NCAA? No, just college women's basketball fans, and that's it. And
Caitlin Clark highlights,
not even college basketball fans. We're just Caitlin Clark fans.
I just like the Caitlin Clark highlights. And,
Yeah.
and the Angel Reese lowlights.
Yeah, that's it. Isn't that a lot of people though?
How is that not entertaining for you?
I think it's
Dude,
funny.
she scored 22 points in 2
Those
minutes.
guys all look tiny. That's awesome. It is awesome. It is awesome.
I mean, that's
give
their
you that.
practice squad though too,
I don't
isn't
even
it?
think
It's against the boys.
I don't even
know.
think it's really their
She
practice
shut their
squad.
ass
You think
down.
those guys are playing against real NBA players? Because those guys all look really short.
No, I don't know. I thought they said it was like the practice squad that they practiced against for games. They had them play against men's teams.
Yeah, but an NBA team's practice squad is what it said.
I think it was college.
No, this was college. Yeah.
It would make more sense if it was college. I was like, there's no way that's an NBA practice team
it
because
was college.
those guys have to be huge
but
too.
she was in college too.
Don't care. I mean, yeah, sure, it's
She was
awesome.
draining buckets.
She wasn't even like trying.
She was draining fucking grapes in a wine glass with Dave Letterman, for fuck's sake. This chick can't miss. Like, it's crazy.
Throwing the football up, like the basketball up, like just so. She wasn't setting her feet or anything, just like putting the ball out in the air. I was like, all right,
You know what that tells me?
Young Steph Curry, baby.
That tells me that she's put in work.
Yeah.
She has.
Did you see what Jordan said about Reese?
What'd she say? Or what did he say?
Essentially, he was dogging on her, but he's like, you're more worried about putting up
Put your ass out. Yeah, putting your ass out on
Instagram.
Dude, Shaq is hilarious when he talks about her.
You saw the one where he was on her show or something? Yeah, that was funny, bro.
I didn't watch it or not. I saw the clips and stuff. Yeah. It's interesting.
It's true though. They're distracted, man. When you think of the legacy like that Kobe and Michael Jordan talked about, man, or I've read both of Tim Grover's books too, The Winning and whatever the other one's called. I can't think of it right now, but like the topic of discussion about these guys being the kind of champions they are and the mentalities that they have was all about not getting caught up in the hoopla. I mean, Kobe was the best example. You never saw Kobe at parties and doing crazy celebrations and, doing like if they won, he celebrated and sprayed champagne into the locker room and then he got back into the game. You know what I mean? Like that mindset where these people now, they're all distracted with the popularity because social media is everything. And I think that's why we're seeing less quality athletes. We're seeing less quality fighters. We're seeing less quality, all this shit, because there's a big distraction taking place now and image is everything to them. They don't have the mentality they used to where they just didn't care about the publicity and the stunts and all that nonsense, bro. They were just about killing. Yeah, for sure. He was like the epitome of it. That was like the timeline of when you can single it out.
Himself in the tighty whiteies.
Yeah,
on the bike.
That was insane.
It's game over.
Or the videos of him in the bathroom going.
I mean, his coke faces are a whole nother thing, bro.
Those were probably where I drew the line. I was like, hey, maybe I don't want to follow this guy anymore.
That's funny.
But you guys think LeBron's gonna win a ring this year with the squad?
No.
Aren't they getting like crushed?
No, they're doing really well. They just beat the Dallas Mavericks the other day.
If LeBron gets a ring, this shit was all rigged to begin with, bro. Ain't no way.
And his son plays in the championship game with him too. That would be crazy.
What's their record?
I don't know.
I got to look this up.
I don't think they're like leading the conference or anything like that. I don't keep track of basketball with that being said.
You do.
They were saying too, basketball's down like crazy. The ratings and the viewership is just insane.
I will watch the guys talk about basketball before I watch basketball. Like Shaq and freaking all the other commentators are just so much more entertaining.
Are they number 2?
They're in third place.
Third?
Good for them.
They got a real chance. They got a chance.
Probably not.
Unfortunately, LeBron's not clutch enough, so hopefully the rest of the team can carry. But they'll attribute it to Bron somehow.
The Thunder is 66-14.
Where are the Wolves at?
The Wolves, they are
way back.
Are they in the Eastern Conference? They would have to be, right? I don't see them.
They dropped out.
Oh, there they are. They're in 8th place, 46-33.
Oh, great.
Young Jordan ain't carrying the team.
Young Jordan got too many distractions, like you said.
Does he play on that team?
The Wolves?
What's his name?
Ant. No,
Edwards.
Anthony Edwards.
He's on the Timberwolves.
Wait a minute.
Minnesota.
That's his son?
No, but that's what they were saying. They were saying that he resembles Jordan and shit like that, and that his gameplay
he like
and all.
dunks the exact same way, like as the logo, and it's interesting. But
maybe it is his.
Could be. He's doing what his dad taught him.
Yeah, I don't know. Or
leave his kid.
What he learned.
Leave his kid.
I don't know if his dad taught him, but it's what he learned.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, let's jump into some topics, man. We got a lot of good stuff going on right now. So let's see what we're made of here. First one, let's talk about our boy RFK.
That's Deion's boy.
Was my boy. That's your boy.
That was everybody's boy until he started fucking switching up on us here.
He's code switching.
So here's the topic. RFK Jr. from anti-vax icon to measles advocate. Why Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is walking back his vaccine stance and why it has both critics and supporters stunned. So first of all, the shock factor is he just did something no one saw coming and changed his stance on vaccines, kind of. Once one of the loudest anti-vaccine voices is now publicly supporting the MMR, measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, at least in the case of Texas measles outbreak. This is a major reversal from a man who built political identity and influence partly on vaccine skepticism. Little history on his vaccine past. For years, RFK promoted the discredited claim that vaccines, especially MMR, were linked to autism. He found Children's Health Defense, a group that spread vaccine skepticism throughout the pandemic. He was deplatformed by Instagram in 2021 due to COVID/vaccine misinformation, and he positioned himself as a hero to the medical freedom movement. Now, in his new position, what he said and why. So after over 600 cases and multiple child deaths from measles in Texas, RFK Jr. publicly said, the most effective way to prevent the spread of measles is the MMR vaccine. He stated the data and tragedy can't be ignored, and he's now encouraging vaccination in specific cases. But he also maintains he's not flip-flopping. He says he's still for medical freedom and just making a case-by-case call. It's not a reversal, he says. It's a nuance. Critics say it's political damage control. In other news regarding RFK, he's now come out with his autism promise as well. He says the HHS is to find the cause by September. But here's the twist. Now he's turning focus to autism itself. In the new HHS initiative, RFK Jr. announced that the government will fund a massive autism research project. He's promised to uncover the cause of autism by September 2025. Critics say this revives dangerous conspiracy theories. Most experts agree. Genetics is the primary factor, and vaccines have been thoroughly ruled out. I call total BS on that, though. Public reaction. So is he evolving or just calculating? Some followers feel betrayed, calling him a sellout for siding with the CDC. Others are applauding the shift, calling it brave, mature, and data-driven. Is this a strategic pivot for the political gain as an independent candidate, or is he genuinely evolving based on new data? So in this section, this is just kind of a little hot take roundtable on the discussion. So can someone like RFK Jr. ever regain credibility with the scientific community? I don't think he's lost his credibility with the scientific community necessarily, but he's certainly tiptoeing outside the edges of it now.
Yeah. It is a little strange. Like, he was confirmed, I don't know, a little over maybe a month and a half ago, and was pretty much not all against vaccines, but definitely skeptical on MMR vaccines. And now he's going down to Texas and basically stating that some of these cases do need the vaccine.
Yeah, I don't disagree with what he's doing, I guess I have to say, but I don't,
in the sense of changing his stance. Yeah.
But I guess I don't know enough about MMR vaccines. I obviously know I wouldn't take the one vaccine that was more pushed towards us to take. But like the measles and mumps shot, I definitely got.
Comes together. I'm pretty sure it comes together as a one shot.
Like the measles, mumps shot.
Measles, mumps, and rubella.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, I definitely got that.
MMR.
So, I mean, I definitely think it is partially genetic, but I don't think it's all genetic as to why.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy genetics for autism at all whatsoever.
Really? How? I mean,
Yeah. I have my godson's autistic.
Mm-hmm.
If it was genetic, then wouldn't his dad and his brother or his siblings be autistic too, or his mom, or someone in the family?
Well, why is 1 in 34 kids born with autism
now, but never before? There's obviously been some kind of trigger in recent times that have made it more prominent in births of kids now, and it can't just be out of thin air that the genetics decided to decode themselves and start, producing more autistic children.
Well, it's just like, how many of these vaccines were compared to early 80s to now? How many more vaccines are these kids getting now?
A lot
more.
But the thing is like, I got all these vaccines. Like, I'm not that old, and I don't. But the people around me, I didn't see many autistic people.
I do believe that there was a time where they were genuine, and now they're being manipulated and played with too. You know what I mean? Where vaccines were maybe a little bit more real, medical, scientific research was being done. They were really trying to serve a purpose because they were having things like big outbreaks and disease and stuff like that back in the day. And I think there was a point in time here in our recent history where things kind of made a turn for the worse, and they were looking to utilize resources like, hey, we can, like, it's kind of like, the whole story about Bill Gates and him talking about how to get, this other new vaccine into people still. Well, let's put it in their food. Let's put it in the water supply. So they're looking for ways to do that. So I feel like, if anything, they maybe recently started to make the vaccines bad by putting stuff into them to try to change. They're like, hey, look, everyone already agrees you got to get vaccinated, throughout your youth growing up. And while they're already agreeing to it, let's put some stuff into these vaccines and make some changes and start manipulating people. So I feel like it wasn't always bad, and hence why so many of us, when we were younger, we had these vaccines and didn't have complications. You didn't see high rates of autism and other things happening, but now we do, and we now have clearly a government system that isn't for the people anymore, man. They really want population control, and there's all these philanthropists and government officials and billionaires that are putting their, hands in on all this stuff, and, I think they tainted the vaccines, man.
It does. It makes you wonder that they're putting stuff in it. This is my conspiracy hat coming.
Yeah.
If they put stuff in the vaccine to create an autistic child, well, that autistic child's more than likely going to be on some sort of medications for the rest of their life, right?
I don't know. I don't know any autistic people.
Yes. And there's tons of government programs. You need help and assistance raising these kids. And, my brother has, like, people that come to his house daily. They have to put him in special schooling and stuff because his autism is real, man. And he needs a lot of help, and the parents need a lot of help and guidance. How much money is created through that? Again, it's a conspiracy hat going on. Billions.
But how much money is created from just one child being on, being autistic with all the medications and all the extra special needs that they need? It just kind of makes you wonder, like, where was the turn? Where was the uptick on so many kids being born with autism?
Yeah, I don't.
And that, if all the other shit about RFK, if he's able to come out, A, clean up our food and water, and B, actually get down to the bottom of what's going on with this autism thing, he won in my book. He won.
Yeah, but now comes in the question of, is it okay to change your stance on this after you get selected or even voted in based on you saying one thing, then getting voted in and switching up like, politicians are known to do to us, right? And then is there still trust there now? If the guy says, hey, you know what? We cleaned up the water. You can all drink it now.
Yeah.
Can we?
I think
and then he says, hey, I figured out what causes autism, and it wasn't the food. It wasn't this. It was something that, like there's all kinds of things that can come into question here. Will we believe him and trust him when he does say we figured it out and it's been resolved?
I mean,
because
only
we can't
time
trust
can
him.
tell.
We can't trust him but time is too late.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It'd be too late. If time tells, then it's always too late.
And that's the only way it's going to be.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying is like, but to speculate, not like want to just deny everything, Dion.
I'm not denying.
Dion Denier Larry, bro. That's what his new nickname is.
The only thing we could do is wait 10 years after he does it.
It's true.
Right, but for the sake of the conversation,
like, to believe him, too.
Like, yeah, do we even believe that he's going to, really do this anymore? Because he's already betrayed us and did what you expect a politician to do at that level. You know what I mean?
I would think that you'd be able to know it pretty soon, actually.
I don't know.
If he came out, let's say, all right, these vaccines
like 6
are coming
to 8.
Coming up, these vaccines are creating autism. We're going to take out this specific ingredient, and then children born that are getting vaccinated don't have autism. You're going to know it pretty soon.
Yeah, I will say I think there's a pretty fair argument that aside from vaccines, if you wanted to really get into it, it could be the food too.
Yeah,
that's causing this stuff.
I would say that would be
there's so much poison that's being consumed
nowadays.
See
that article of there was a child that had autism, and they basically cleaned up his diet, and I don't know what else they did, but he basically was cured from autism.
So what I
There's
see
a bunch of them.
A lot of people doing is like heavy toxin detoxes is what they do. And they're saying these heavy toxin detoxes, like, so they'll somehow get rid of all the heavy metals that are inside of their kid.
Yeah.
Like at 3 years old, they'll say, hey, he's been acting like this.
Spray that he used to spray, him and his kids would spray it in their mouth or something. It was supposed to detox them of all the heavy metals.
Yeah.
Because his son has autism, so they're on this whole like kick now.
Yeah.
And the thing that sucks though is like his son is autistic, but you don't get to tell him what he's going to eat. He picks and chooses, and he only wants like junk food. He only wants to eat the poison, the sugars and stuff, And to that story that you're talking about, I've heard quite a few of them in my research because I'm doing all this carnivore digging right now. And I do believe that carnivore is not, when I say carnivore, I don't want people to think that I'm like saying meat is, the cure for everything. No, stopping eating all that stuff as a carnivore is what really, brings the healing. The difference is meat, I believe, is the only superfood that exists in the world because it's the only thing you can eat only that and not need any vitamins, nutrients, supplementation, or anything. You literally have everything you need by only eating meat. So it's a quality product to be eating that has everything you need. There is no other superfood that can say that because meat doesn't cause any kind of illness or disease or anything like that. But plants do, vegetables do, fruits do, carbohydrates do, sugar does.
Chemicals they spray on them.
It's not just the chemicals they spray on them. Plants have thousands, if not millions, of toxins already built up in them because they're the only prey that can't run from their predator. Yeah. And so they build up toxins in them. So there's a lot of plants that if animals eat them, they'll die, bro. I mean, that's what they're designed for. We're able to eat them, but they're not all the way bioavailable to us, and they don't offer us the nutrients that they tell us they do unless you like spinach. You'd have to eat like 5 pounds of spinach to get the vitamins and nutrients they say are in spinach that would actually do something good for your body. Otherwise, you're just eating toxins. You know what I mean? Carcinogens. And then they spray them with carcinogens on top of us, and now you've quadrupled the levels. But to the point of autism, there's a few people. There's one guy I watched a podcast who's autistic, and he's a nonverbal autistic. If he's eating carbohydrates, when he eats carbohydrates, he becomes nonverbal again. He became carnivore based on research because they thought maybe it could help him, and he became verbal and like fully capable. And he's able, like, this is what they've talked about. If only autistic kids can explain to us what they're living through and what they're dealing with. Well, they can now. Right. So this guy and several other, there's another lady who talks about her son who's nonverbal, and they basically stopped feeding them carbohydrates and sugars and plants and fruits and just gave them a meat diet only.
Yeah.
And it reversed their nonverbal autism. and made them able to talk again. And then, like they say, if they do eat carbs, they go nonverbal for a few days again until it cleans out of their system.
That's pretty.
So there's tons of studies on. There's people that are doing interviews talking about it now too. So it's definitely something in the food that is, if not triggering it, it's prolonging it or making it worse. It's increasing its, effects.
Yeah, I would say it's I really struggle with the vaccines, because if you can't trust somebody or something that is supposed to help us,
Right.
how are we going to trust anything?
Right. But how do you trust anyone that to the point of like they're supposed to be here to help us when they're the biggest multi-billion-dollar industry in the world too? It's just like that's not trustworthy.
And they're protected.
We're not supposed to be this sick. Yeah, and they're not allowed to get in trouble when they hurt us with their vaccines too. It's like there's something clearly.
But the thing is, at the end of the day, I know like if I have kids, then I would likely get them vaccinated with everything but the flu shot and the COVID shot. Like that, those two things are something I probably wouldn't do.
My daughter's not planning to either.
Do any vaccines? Yeah, see, I wouldn't do that.
Do you need a religious exemption for that?
No, you have every right to say no.
Yeah, but how do you do that with school?
Then you just have to say you don't believe it's not part of your belief system.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But you don't have to show proof or anything, or bring a pamphlet.
She's not vaccinated right now.
My daughter?
Yeah.
No, my youngest daughter hasn't been vaccinated for many, many years. Okay. But in the beginning, she had like the first couple of vaccines because we just didn't know any better.
Who are we talking
Asia.
about?
She's planning to not vaccine her baby.
Oh,
vaccinate her baby.
Yeah. We did the first round with Rhea.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's supposed to get her yearly shots. And I told Kate, we're just going to wait as long as we can. I really just want to hold out and see what happens here with this. I would love to hold out and see what happens with this September deadline.
Yeah.
If any news comes out of it.
Yeah, I think if you avoid vaccines, the key is to make sure you feed your kids correctly.
Yeah.
Don't let them eat the poisons, man. Don't raise them on junk food, and certainly don't raise them on sugar. You know what I mean? Like there's everything that you look at in terms of health and all the ailments that come with it can all be attributed to food. And you know that because if you take the food away, these things reverse, bro. Autoimmune diseases on carnivore reverse. Chronic illnesses reverse. They're reversing Alzheimer's. They are reversing autism. They're reversing so many things by just using nutrition. And that's why there's so many doctors out here advocating now for keto and carnivore diets.
And I actually had a conversation with this applicant that I had. We run into a lot of kids with asthma issues.
Yeah.
It kind of makes you wonder if that is something that you can not cure, but maybe get better.
Definitely.
Without an inhaler.
You can.
I
have asthma.
I
haven't used my inhaler in 8 months, and I've been carnivore for 8 months.
Were you prescribed like did you do the methacholine breathing test at all?
I don't know. I've had bronchial asthma since I was way young. I used to have like asthma attacks when there was like the fires in California and stuff, but I always have to go to the emergency room and stuff. And up until recently, I was having tons of respiratory problems, and I've always got an inhaler on me. But since being carnivore, I've used the inhaler a couple of times since being carnivore, but not because I needed it, because I wanted to expand my bronchial because maybe I was smoking too much weed or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was it. Like I haven't had to use my inhaler since I've been carnivore.
It makes me wonder if that is possible.
Do you have to use it more when you're heavier though? Would you say?
No.
Like in the past, you'd say it's pretty fair or pretty even like
it was
when
always
you're on
the
prep
same
and stuff.
And for me, sometimes it would just be seasonal.
Yeah.
Like the cold would bring it out of me really bad. You know what I mean? When it was snowing and real cold air.
Yeah. Just
then
like
I would
crisp.
really need my inhaler for sure.
Yeah.
And, mostly at night when I'm sleeping too, I would wake up in the middle of the night and it's like, oh shit, hit that and I'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Clay, obviously he was a chunky kid when we were younger, but
What's up with all you fatties, man?
that's our parents.
Jeez.
That's what happens when you get fed nothing
back to the nutrition.
but Burger King. Exactly. I'm surprised we didn't get autism.
Man, D lived down the street from Burger King his whole life too. So
always. That's all. My mom was always working and my dad was always done working. And so it was just whatever the fuck was fastest. And
I ate a lot of TV dinners growing up.
Yeah, that's literally what we ate. TV dinners, we ate Hamburger Helper, and we ate Burger King when we got older.
listen, my dad, he worked his ass off.
Yeah.
And you do what's easiest.
Exactly.
TV dinners were easier. But I have to imagine that those things are probably the unhealthiest.
Not healthy. And we always wanted the worst ones, mac and cheese with the brownie and the chicken nuggets, bro.
It's all the processed foods is the thing, you know, like we're eating so many ultra processed things now. Half our food isn't real anymore. Our body doesn't know what to do with that, doesn't know how to digest it. So it just stores it into places in our body. And next thing you know, we're all getting sick. You know, everyone's obese. Like there's all these issues with it. It's the food, man. And some people are more sensitive to it than others. You know, tons of dudes that are just skinny fools that never eat anything healthy and they're always fucking skinny. And then there's people who look at a fucking cupcake and gain weight. You know what I mean? So it's like the food is bad, bro. It's super bad.
Yeah.
So,
but he grew out of his asthma too. So, but we both got
fit,
healthy. Yeah. So
I'm sure that's a huge, culprit too. Is getting healthy probably really contributes to a lot of people coming
exercising.
out. I have bronchial asthma. Mine's a little bit different than the normal asthma. It usually takes a trigger to really set it off. You know what I mean? And like smoke is really bad. I used to go out like to campfires, bro, and I'd just be choking because the smoke would just kill my lungs so strong, man. And I would be smacking my inhaler all the time, plus smoking and everything else on top of it. And I smoked cigarettes. I did all that stuff in the past.
That's insane. To have asthma and smoke cigarettes, that's wild.
Dude, you got to be cool.
Yeah, of course.
And nobody looks cool hitting the inhaler. You know what I mean? So I got to back it up with a cigarette afterwards. You're like, yeah, but Cody.
Okay.
Yeah, dude.
With that being said, I still believe in RFK. I know we got a couple.
Yeah, I don't know if he's all the way out the window for me yet. You know what I mean? I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but he's definitely less trustworthy in my opinion because he does have flip-flop behavior.
But I do believe that he still has aspirations to run.
For president?
Yeah.
I hope not.
We'll see.
That's like Walls running for.
I mean, it would make sense that he's flip-flopping because that's a trait of a president.
Yeah, I really don't know what they're gonna do for like a Democratic nominee.
I think if that is the case, it's a bad move because we're in a time now where the public trust in the government is at an all-time low.
Yeah.
And so you do not want to be siding with like the pharmaceutical companies just to try to get them.
He's not going to get like a Trumper type vote. No way.
Yeah, no. It'll be a battle, whatever he does. Yeah.
And then it's just going to split the vote again. And so he's going to be in the same position he was. So this was probably the worst move for him if he messes this up, this is the worst move for him to have come to the Republican side like this. And then he can't go back.
No.
So
the left hates him.
He put himself out there. He's got to do a good job.
We'll see. Well, make sure you guys let us know you're listening. Check us out. Tell us what you think about this. Do you think someone can change their stance and still lead? Or is it too little too late to do that once you've flip-flopped on America? So put it in the comments. Let us know, and maybe we can look at some of those on the next episode.
We should touch on him. I think he's being blackmailed with something. Somebody has. We've seen some videos. I sent you guys some videos of him being blackmailed about him having an affair with a woman.
Yeah, and that got hushed up real quick. Like,
what? Hold on. Candace made a video about that, and she's like, "Oh, I've seen some damning evidence."
Yeah, her and Ian Carroll both did.
But I haven't heard anything.
They're saying that there's a video of them hooking up.
Yeah.
Of him and some lady
they're saying all his handlers and controllers are going crazy, trying to cover up the evidence, trying to do whatever they. I mean, and I mean, people. If it's true, bro, who knows who's getting paid what out there to keep that stuff from coming out?
Who gives up?
I mean, Monica Lewinsky was like a big deal, right?
I know, but he's married. I think that's the biggest concern for him. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't want that to come out.
She knows it though. She already knows.
Maybe she thinks she knows. Who knows? We don't know how deep it goes if it's real. You know?
Yeah.
But I do believe that he's showing the behavior of somebody who's been compromised.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's for one thing for sure, and we know this because we talk about it all the time. It's what it looks like, bro.
Yeah.
It looks like he's been compromised and he's being blackmailed.
Rolling over because of that, then.
It is a lady that he works with in some regards. I don't know. I don't remember what she does, but
then he's just a fucking typical Kennedy. Who cares?
Right.
Who gives a fuck?
I agree, but it's not that so much that people care. It's that the narrative's going to get spun in a way to make people care.
Yeah.
These people are so gullible out here. All they got to do is say, "Hey, you should hate him now because he did this." And everyone's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, that's
he's
immoral.
a jacked,
He's
60-some-year-old guy. He likes to clap cheeks. Who cares?"
Cody making excuses now.
Cody's like, "Leave me alone when I'm older." Bro.
Yeah, 60. It's like whatever.
He's just clapping cheeks. Let him do his thing.
Hell
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
All right, let us know what you think in the comments. Is it just clapping cheeks or is it deeper? All right, let's jump into our next segment here. Let's talk a little bit about something a little bit more extreme and right along the lines of conspiracy theories.
This is my favorite.
Let's talk about bringing back the beast, the dire wolf de-extinction project. This is a crazy one to me. So what if I told you the dire wolf, the massive predator from the Ice Age, is being brought back right now? Dire wolves went extinct about 10,000 years ago. A new company called Colossal Biosciences, a Texas biotech company, is behind the effort. They gene-edited gray wolves using CRISPR, or CRISPR, to mimic dire wolf traits, larger jaws, thicker coats, and stronger immune systems. 3 pups were born January 2025, Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi.
Those are sick names.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. So let's look at who's funding this, first of all. This isn't Jurassic Park. It's tech billionaires, venture capitalists, and even Paris Hilton. Colossal raised over $225 million in private funding. Some of the key investors are Peter Thiel, who's the PayPal co-founder, Thomas Toll, Legendary Entertainment, Paris Hilton, @ONE Ventures, West River Group, and others. Harvard's Dr. George Church, founder of modern gene editing, is also on board, and project aims to commercialize de-extinction tech for conservation, agriculture, and medical breakthroughs. The ethical curveball: are these really dire wolves? Scientists say these aren't true dire wolves, just genetic echoes. These are genetically engineered gray wolves, not resurrected from ancient DNA, which is too degraded. Critics call them designer predators or Frankenwolves. Conversationists are split. Some support ecological restoration. Others warn of unintended consequences. That's where I'm leaning.
Yeah.
This could get bad, especially when you think about now what they're trying to do with placement. So let's look at native lands and ancient spirits. This is where it gets deeper. This isn't just about wolves. It's about history, culture, and identity. Colosso is working with Native American tribes in North Dakota, including Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara nations. Wolves have deep spiritual and cultural symbolism in native traditions, guardians, guides, hunters. Tribes are exploring how these reintroductions could reconnect land with ancestral meaning, promote tribal sovereignty, and support ecological stewardship. Ethical question: should tech companies shape nature, or should indigenous knowledge lead the way? So here's a couple talking points here. Would you support bringing back other extinct species? What about mammoths or saber-tooths? Because that's the talk, is what's next. There's a lot of talk about bringing back the mammoth for the same reason that they're saying they want to bring back the wolves, and the natives are in conversations with Colossal about this. So there's some big leaders, and I believe one of them is from here in North Dakota, of native tribes that are discussing the things that they should bring back to help with the culture and help the land and all that stuff. I don't understand it. If you truly believe in that stuff, in my eyes, it's like, okay, cool, but you're bringing back something fake. You can almost look at this as demonic.
Yeah.
Not the true nature of the animal that you're thinking of, that you think you're connected with. It's something different for sure. Also, who gets to decide where these new animals live? Scientists, the government, or tribal leaders? They've already talked in regards to the dire wolves. They don't want to put them in zoos because they're worried people are going to try and draw DNA and do testing and do all kinds of other things. They want to put them, either in a museum or some kind of like conservatory where they can be on display but be taken care of by these people. Others are talking that potentially they're going to release some of them into the wild on native lands and things of that nature too.
That'd be so wild.
That would be wrong, bro. It's like Jurassic Park, but at low level, and then it's just a matter of time. Will they bring back Jurassic Park? Who knows? Because if they say here too, if we can bring back any species, should we, or are we playing God? Is this tech innovation or just billionaires with the God complex? So I like these questions because that's the first thing that comes to mind here is, what species are they going to bring back next if they're already testing the dire wolf and you're talking about something from 10,000 years ago? Are we going to have T-Rex running around this mug someday and we're all doomed when that happens?
See, the thing that I worry about is that all of the animals that went extinct are all like cold weather animals. So they're all coming north.
They're going to bring them to North Dakota.
Good. I'm good on that. We don't need that. I'm going to have to get some big
I don't even
dogs.
want dire wolves here, bro. We got damn bobcats and mountain lions running around the city as it is, bro. We don't need dire wolves around these parts.
No, we definitely need dire wolves around here.
I've driven off or like getting onto.
Go to the zoo and see the timber wolves. You'll get your fix, man.
Yeah, it's good enough for sure.
Those things are monstrous, and dire wolves are bigger.
If they bring dire wolves around here, like that's gonna decimate the bison population.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't know what they're thinking with that. Hopefully, there's a plan in place, but they're saying like it's a Frankenwolf. Well, yeah, I mean the thing has been dead for 10,000 years. Eventually, it's gonna take breeding to get back and
like some genetic coding, yeah.
But
they don't have real DNA of a dire wolf in these things. They're modifying the gray wolf, which is the timber wolf. Sure. So they're modifying it and genetically, enhancing the size of
the full size.
It's not they're just calling it a dire wolf from the sounds of things scientifically because they've modified the gray wolf DNA code to make it resemble the look and feel of a dire wolf, but maybe it's not actually because they're saying that clearly the DNA is long, no good. It's toast. There's no way they could use the DNA from 10,000 years ago.
I mean, this is the same thing that people do with dogs already. So I guess in this sense of this animal, it's not a bad.
Have you seen a wolf dog?
I used to have wolf dogs when I was a kid.
Those things are huge.
Yeah.
You want to see what these things look
scary,
like?
Really scary.
So the dire wolves they're pretty massive.
Yeah.
They honestly, they were.
No, I mean the ones that they actually have created.
Oh yeah,
these are the real ones.
They're little pups
They're pups right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say they didn't look very big, but if they were only born in January.
I heard people talking that they've been here for a year now, but that's not true. These ones are pups. They're not even a year old yet.
They were born in October,
January.
It said.
Oh, really?
January of 2025. They just did it.
Oh no shit.
Yeah.
So 3 months old.
October. Fuck, they're only a few months old.
Yeah.
They're huge for a few
babies.
months old.
Yeah, for 3 months. That's really.
Well, what do you expect of a giant like that?
They are cute as hell, though.
Charlie's gonna have to get real good at freaking biting other dogs. That'd be crazy.
Charlie's gonna be a snack to a dire wolf, bro. Don't even let him go near him.
I saw the size comparison of the dire wolves compared to like a man and then a regular wolf. They're way bigger.
Really?
Way bigger.
Yeah, but I mean,
they're honestly they're the size of the wolves in Game of Thrones. That's what they look like.
I don't think they should make Frenchies, but they still do that, So it's like,
let's get through a quick ad here. But yeah, I'm with you guys, man. Like, I don't know how I feel about this necessarily. I mean, it's cool technology, it's cool science that they're able to do this. But
I think it's awesome.
I think as we know with the government, they're showing us only what they're done with. So now that we get to see this, we get to know about this. Does this mean that they're totally capable of cloning humans? Obviously,
yeah.
If they can do this, then human cloning is for sure a real thing.
They got to put that.
Here we go.
Scientists claim to have brought a 12,500-year-old wolf species back from extinction. A Dallas-based biotech company has used gene editing and cloning technology to create 3 dire wolf pups. Popularized by HBO's Game of Thrones, Colossal Biosciences claims that these direwolf cubs have now become the world's first successfully de-extincted animal. Using genetic material from 2 direwolf fossils, the company was able to reconstruct the complete direwolf genome, ultimately creating cubs with distinctive direwolf features like white coats and longer, thicker fur. While Colossal claims to have brought this iconic species back to life, critics say that gene editing technology is still a long way off from being able to revive extinct species, and question whether the efforts are worth the benefits.
Nope. We don't have the technology to modify entire genomes. We can modify components of genomes, and we can certainly sequence genomes. So, yes, they have slightly genetically modified wolves, maybe. Does that make it a direwolf? No. Does it make a slightly modified gray wolf? Yes. And that's probably about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like making another dog. I mean, they do it all the time. So this isn't
crossbreeding essentially to get the result that you're looking for.
It's weird. I wouldn't like them to do it to like mammoths, like you said. Like if they bring elephants and they're like, let's give them big tusks and fur,
woolly mammoths back.
Yeah.
I want to see that at the Chihinkapa Zoo.
Well, they say that's what's next.
That would be
that's
cool.
One of the
actually,
next things they want to
one
mess
of
with.
them.
Yeah. But just one. Yeah. Just put them on display and take care of them when it's time.
Could you imagine that? Having a freaking woolly mammoth? around?
I just think it's wrong because
or even a saber-toothed tiger.
They're not going to put them out in the wild, obviously. So it's super wrong because it's going to be just used for capital gain.
What do you think of like a saber-tooth? They're not much bigger than any other big cat, right?
But they can run into you and kill you.
And they got crazy
any
jaw.
other big cat?
I mean, kinda.
How?
They have tusks on their face.
Yeah.
So they just did you see that video?
So does freaking tigers have big jaws and teeth?
What was that? An elephant that killed that? It wasn't
that dude out.
No, the animal. That was crazy too.
Stomped his ass.
It was like an elephant from Africa or in Africa,
Yeah.
and it killed an animal. I don't remember. It had tusks. It was an elephant with tusks in the wild, and it was just it killing another animal. And it stabs it with its tusks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's vicious.
Yeah, but that
So if it's that against a lion, the lion's getting stabbed, dude. A saber-toothed tiger?
No.
Yes.
Oh, I think a saber-toothed. I think they're bigger than lions, first of all.
No.
Yeah.
Let's find out.
Yeah, we got it now. Saber-tooth are prehistoric animal, bro. Ain't you ever watched Thundercats?
Dude, I was a huge
Thundercats. Thundercats. Ho!
All I'm thinking about is what's that movie with the sloth?
So they are quite a bit bigger.
Ice Age.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Ice Age. That's
Yeah,
it. That's
yeah.
all I can think about right now. I couldn't tell you how big they are. How much they weigh?
620 pounds.
Holy, how much does a lion weigh?
Probably the same. Hold on a second. Had a weight of 160 to 620 height. All right. Weight of a lion. 420 pounds.
See, taking
about
the
a tiger?
saber-tooth.
No,
I
look
can't
at a
imagine
liger.
Is a tiger much heavier? I can't imagine.
Tiger's 660 pounds.
Okay.
Tigers get bigger. Look at a liger, though. That's supposed to be like the biggest cat. It's a crossbreed of a lion and a tiger.
I could have
Those
got.
are-
I could have
those
grasped
Things are
that
retarded,
one.
though.
Huh?
What?
Things are retarded.
They just
Ligers
look
are
like it.
weigh 800 to 900.
Let me
Yeah,
see.
come on.
Let me see the photo.
This is actually legit. Like, I follow this guy on Instagram.
Holy.
Yeah.
They're huge.
That does look stupid. It looks like B, my cat, at home, but bigger.
But I think he might be slightly retarded.
But that's like
cat?
Great Pyrenees, too, man. It's just
Yeah.
because they're so massive, they look like they're mental dogs.
I don't know if you can say that on
They're
on YouTube, but
Say what?
he might have to delete the R word that he said. But
No, the R word's back. You can say it.
I don't think you can say it on YouTube.
Whatever.
But yeah, no, that looks
Denial
bad.
Dion.
Yeah. Dion, Denial, Larry.
Uh,
Right on. Well, let us know what you guys think. Dire Wolves, good or bad? And should we do T-Rex next?
Yes.
Down in the comments, get at us. All right, let's look at this next one. We got some stuff going on here with tariffs. We'll call this the tariff tsunami. Is Trump's trade war backfiring or is it brilliant? 10% on everything, 125% on China, 90 days of chaos. Let's talk about the future of your wallet. So Trump just reignited the trade war, but this time it's wrapped in American flags and inflation risk. Trump launched Liberation Day tariffs on April 2nd, 2025. 10% universal import tax on everything coming into the U.S. China got hit with 125% tariffs, intensifying a new front in U.S.-China economic tensions. Days later, a 90-day pause was announced for most countries except for China. So what's actually happening? Forget the headlines. Here's what the tariffs really mean. April 2nd, Trump enacts 10% import tax to reclaim American independence. On the 5th, it officially begins, hitting everything from electronics to furniture. China specific penalty is 125% tariff on nearly all Chinese exports to the U.S. And then on April 9th, a 90-day pause on new tariffs over 75 countries, but China still targeted. For economic fallout, what this means for us, this isn't just about geopolitics. It's about gas, groceries, gadgets, and your next Amazon order, which I just read today. Amazon canceled all their Chinese imports officially as of now.
Nice.
Yep. So because of the tariffs as well.
That's awesome, actually.
Stock markets, huge spike after the pause announcement. Dow was up 1,800 points. Pharma sector down. Trump left drug ingredient tariffs untouched. Retail shock. Amazon canceling bulk product orders from Asia. There you go. Inflation risk. March CPI was low, but analysts warned tariffs could spark another price surge this summer. Small business impact. Import-dependent businesses are scrambling to pivot. Our global reaction in the trade battlefield. The world's watching and not everyone's smiling. China has now retaliated with up to 84% tariffs on U.S. goods. Canada, Israel, and Europe allies scrambling to confirm exemptions. The WTO could see incoming complaints, legal challenges brewing. New global supply chain shifts underway. Some nations seeing this as an opening to fill gaps left by China and U.S. friction. Trump's strategy. Is this a bold play to protect America or reckless economic nationalism? Trump's pitch, bring jobs home, stop relying on China, and hit back at trade cheaters. Critics say it's populist fluff that hurts consumers and won't change the global trade dynamics. Compare to Reagan-era free market views, which leaned anti-tariff. And then election year playbook, could this be a strategy to appeal to blue-collar voters ahead of November? So let's get real. What's the ripple effect here? Does this make you want to buy American or just buy less? Is China bluffing with 84% retaliation, or are they done playing nice? Are these tariffs even enforceable long-term, or is it just political theater? And if Biden tried this, would the media cheer or crucify him? So what are your thoughts on that? I will say, first of all, why is nobody talking about the fact that all these other countries had tariffs on us and to really high percentage levels, and all Trump is really saying is, they're doing it to us, why can't we do it back to them? Let's make things equal. There's going to be collateral damage cleaning up the shit that's happened to this country just in the last 4 years with Biden in office. There's going to be some struggles, there's going to be some hard times, there's going to see some fluctuation in things, but all in all, I mean, the stock market's doing good, you know what I mean? But I don't think people understand the difference between the stock market and the economy. They don't actually go hand in hand.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're feeling it already. If Trump is promising that he can fix this, and this guy's a hella businessman, and if you don't think that America's a business, you're tripping. We're totally a business.
Yeah.
And he seems to be handling it like a business person should, and so far, so good.
So the biggest thing and the biggest question I have for you, especially as a small business owner, is how do you feel about like the small businesses that are being affected the most by something like this, especially one that relies on a product rather than...
I think it sucks, but again, man, I mean it sincerely when I say we just need to bring it all back home so that we don't have these problems. We can be controlled and manipulated by other nations when this is how we go about running things in our country. I'm all for it. I know there's going to be collateral. We're feeling the effects, right? And we just got noticed that the majority of creatine comes from China, bro. And so we're probably going to see price hikes on creatine right now, or lack of creatine availability due to this. You know what I mean? But what that means is that someone now has an opportunity here in this country to start manufacturing, bro. This is our opportunity to bring it home. That's what Trump's been talking about. You know what I mean? I think it's huge, and I think we should definitely go in this direction. As much as I understand there's going to be some adverse effect on small businesses, including us, I'm all for it, man. I'm willing to suffer a little bit for the long term than to go through what we were going through this last 4 years and potentially see everything taken away from us forever, as opposed to just for a little while.
Yeah. I think it's super important for small businesses to understand that it's a very valuable tool to offer a service and not just a product.
Yeah.
And that'll be a big teaching for...
Yeah, you know what else this will do, man? This will stop, at least here in the United States, it'll stop people from relying on automation and AI for a while.
Yeah.
You're going to have to really make your business be about service again.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to get personable with people. You're going to have a human being available to navigate and coach people through some of the, hardships and mishaps that we're going to experience as small businesses and big businesses, especially in the corporate world. Yeah. This is going to happen. Is it a bad thing that Amazon isn't going to bring in any more imports from China? I mean, everything you get on Amazon comes from China, and it's trash, bro. It's garbage product. It's very rare that you're going to find something on Amazon that doesn't come from China right now, and that is a quality product for the most part. You know what I mean? It's always going to be some junk.
Yeah.
So I would love to see, us thrive again in America with manufacturing coming back here, big jobs, lots of independent owners in America, not outsourcing everything, bro. I've been a part of outsourcing corporations too. I think that's a horrible thing. So I like the idea of us bringing everything back home. I know it's going to suck a little bit, but no one complains about the suck when it's not Trump. They only complain about it when it is Trump. So
for sure,
I say let's do it.
So we're China's in the FAFO moment in time right now.
Yeah.
And I would like to say that I believe that we're in like a silent war with China.
World War III has been happening.
Silently, yes.
Yeah, it's digital.
But it's been going on for a while now. But if you think about it, China is the main facilitator of fentanyl that's pouring into our country, killing all of the Americans. They are infiltrating our military. They are infiltrating our police stations. They are sending spy balloons across the country. They're
infiltrating farming.
They are buying up all the farmland. They are buying up all of the land with all the rare minerals. They own the Panama Canal, and they are hacking into all of their products that they send to the U.S. to spy on us. And so there's a lot of stuff that China is doing that nobody's paying attention. Well, I shouldn't say nobody, but there's a lot of stuff that they're doing that they just simply can't do anymore. And so Trump is, not only is he going to make them lower their tariffs, but he's going to have them come to terms with all of the other shit that they're doing.
Yeah.
Because they're clearly trying to see how far that they can push.
Yeah. I find it super interesting that, like, obviously we saw from Monday, the markets were down crazy in America, and then they increased the tariff on China, and Tuesday markets are back up, and in China the markets are down bad. So it's like we're Trump knows what he's doing in the sense of we're gonna crash China. We are the main consumer of the world.
Recently,
the value of their yen is at the lowest point it's been in 18 years.
Exactly. And these small things that are only taking days are very big steps towards making the US dollar worth more, first off. Yep. Second off, we are the consumers of the world. We have all the stuff. We have all the people that want to be seen around.
The largest consumer of goods in the world, even above China, but we have the second biggest economy next to them. So we're outdoing them. All these other countries would be third world countries without the consumption of America. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like if we didn't consume their goods, they would all be third world. They don't really want to play their game. They're flexing right now, trying to take a stance against Trump, a lot of them. But bro, we will totally suffice without them. They will not. Including China, they need us, bro. They all need us. So this is all just flexing right now, and I think Trump understands that better than anybody because he's a legit businessman, and this is the art of the deal.
Yeah. And one more thing, I forgot. They're infiltrating our education system too.
Oh yeah, big time.
Well, and then they're doing their like hacking in or their womb stuff.
Yeah, the rent-a-womb.
Rent-a-womb.
The rent-a-womb stuff.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't mind what's going on right now. I think a lot of people are going to be scared for a while, especially this year. I don't think it's necessary to be fearful. I think as long as you can stay employed, you will be just fine.
Look, he said this from the very beginning. He said, "Just stay with me. We're gonna go through a little bit of pain here, but it already worked." We got 74 countries came to the table and they're like, "Oh shit, we're in trouble. Let's make a deal."
Yeah.
And they're even proposing that they just simply drop all the tariffs and have 0-0 with no tariffs.
Yeah.
And if that happens, prices of goods are going to come way down.
Yep.
Now, the only thing that makes me nervous about if China were to do that, well, the whole point of this really is to try to get manufacturing back into the United States. And
this is the America Great Again concept.
So if there's no tariffs on China, then there's no reason for those American companies to come back to the United States.
Yeah.
And this has been happening for decades because my dad started out at 3M in Wapaton.
Yeah.
That plant closed down. I think they went to Mexico or something. Amation was there then. That plant closed down. They went to Mexico, and now they're at Comdale. But his wage went way down when they had to close.
Yeah.
So I really do hope that there's some sort of deal that would bring manufacturing back into the United States, because we lost that.
Yeah.
We need to get that back.
Nothing's going to control the wage that people will pay in other countries. There's no way for us to be able to enforce that.
It's slave labor.
Yeah.
Like, that's why it's cheap. People don't understand that. Like, it is slave labor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all of these lithium batteries in our phones and in these electric cars, you go to the Congo, like, those freaking people are getting beat and whipped, and
they're dying of disease from all the
it's slave labor. It's slave labor. So it's people are like, oh my God, China this, China. Yeah. It's slave labor over there.
Yep. Agreed.
There's a reason why that they have to have nets in their buildings, because so many people commit suicide over there.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that after this year, I think we'll be able to see that we don't have to be in a deficit every single year. I think the United States will be able to bring down their debt this year for the first time in a long time. Yeah. And Trump is going to make that one of his most powerful points.
It seems like that's the direction we're headed.
So
in closing here, I'm going to read this statistic. In 2023, U.S. consumer spending accounted for about 68% of the country's GDP, which is massive. Globally, the U.S. is the second largest economy after China, and has a huge impact on international trade, importing trillions of dollars worth of goods every year, from electronics to clothing to oil. So, with that being said, if your next pair of shoes, your TVs, your Tylenol, all that stuff just got more expensive, and this is just the beginning of it, do you support these tariffs, or do you think they're hurting the average American? Get down into our comment section. Let us know what you think, and maybe we'll respond to these in the next episode. Good to go?
Yeah.
Let's have some fun now. Exploitation or expression, the disturbing trend on OnlyFans. When content crosses the line, are we witnessing creativity or cruelty? So we're diving into something controversial, viral, and depending on who you ask, deeply disturbing. Some OnlyFans creators have been using filters or makeup to mimic characteristics associated with Down syndrome or intellectual disabilities, such as altered facial features, slowed speech, or childlike behavior. Many are doing this for clicks, followers, or fetish content. This isn't just cringe, it's opening up serious ethical debates, especially if you ask Joey Swoll. So let's break down this trend. What do we know? Where did it start? And is it just one or two creators or a broader trend? So reference known viral clips or TikToks, use video evidence if available, but avoid showing actual OF content. I'm not going to do that, so we can skip that part. But discuss the type of filters being used here. So many mimic facial expressions or motor delays. These filters are actually created. They're on like Snapchat and I believe TikTok, where you can give yourself a Down syndrome look.
What?
Yeah, and that's what these chicks are doing. They're using Down syndrome filters to hype up their OnlyFans content and get people racing over there to be like, wow, did you see that really hot Down syndrome chick? You know what I mean? And so like, it's working for them, bro, because for some reason it's a fetish that dudes have, I guess. They're like, damn, that chick's got a body and she's Down syndrome. I'm with it. I'm down. Yeah, if she's down, I'm down, bro. That's what they're saying.
What's up,
So this is bigger than just a filter, though. This taps into disability rights, digital consent, and what society rewards. So mocking versus mimicking. What's the creator's intent? Does that even matter if harm is done? Fetishization. Is this feeding into dark or disturbing kinks like infantilization or disability fetishes? And then representation and harm. How does this hurt people with Down syndrome or intellectual disabilities? And then free speech versus platform accountability. Should OnlyFans or TikTok ban creators who do this, and can they? What are your thoughts?
Yes.
They can ban them for sure.
Yeah.
Will they is the question at hand here. For sure, they won't.
Don't know.
Yeah.
I can't believe that these platforms actually have that filter. That's pretty disturbing.
Yeah, that is odd, but I almost think that you can create a filter, and so maybe that's what it is. Like, I don't think it's obviously you and I couldn't make a filter, but I think someone who knew how to work a computer and coding.
OnlyFans girls know how to do
no,
that?
somebody else created it and they just put it on there. I don't think Snapchat controls that to that T, because there's so many different types of filters on Snapchat, especially. I've never been on TikTok, but like, I don't think it's that hard to create a filter like that.
Right.
They won't get rid of it, I don't think. I don't think this is a big enough deal. I haven't seen anyone with Down syndrome that was like promoting sexual content, other than fitness content, but that's not sexual. It's just fitness content.
Or if you go to their pages, they got an OnlyFans link.
It's not. No, it's like individuals that are siblings with somebody who has Down syndrome. And they like,
okay.
I'll see.
Yeah, I've seen
fitness
that,
content like that.
Yeah, and there is some fitness influencers who truly have Down syndrome.
Yeah.
But it's dudes, and that's one of the questions they talk about here. Like, if a male creator did this, would people still defend it? I don't think so. I think then it becomes offensive, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to just being a real Down syndrome person who's actually in the fitness world and bodybuilding like that. What's that dude's name? Kyle something or whatever. He's pretty famous right now. He's a Down
he was
syndrome
training with
bodybuilder.
a bunch of popular people, and then he competed.
He's blowing up.
Yep. I don't know his
and
name.
so, I don't know if that's what's inspired people to see that he's taking off like that, and they're looking for some sort of a sympathy, type of clickbait, and so they're getting it out of this, and then guys are going to their pages and signing up for their OnlyFans. Who knows, man?
It's disturbing.
It's very disturbing.
It goes down to wanting and needing attention. It's sick.
It's insane that Instagram, and obviously I just use Instagram as the example. I'm not sure if they do it on TikTok or whatnot, but like how Instagram did the breastfeeding thing for a while, where women were able to show their well, they still do. Like they show their breasts if they're breastfeeding. It's not a big deal.
Or using fake babies to make feeding videos.
I report them every single time.
Oh yeah, that's solid.
Okay, and then we talk about the pages that are fake. They're definitely fake. They have to be made by either like a scammer, or it's made by Facebook and Instagram themselves.
Robots and stuff.
Yeah, that put reels of OnlyFans women on their page just randomly. Because that's something that we've experienced.
Oh, they're getting paid for that though. So I've gone into the comments. So like, what you're talking about is like the pages that we follow that randomly end up with like some kind of porn on them, right?
Yep.
So like you could follow like shootout videos or police
construction
chases.
skills.
A chiropractor was one of my pages that I followed, and these pages have hundreds of thousands of followers or subscribers, whatever you call them. And then every once in a blue moon, and for a 24-hour period, they'll post some chick. They'll tag her name in there. And then she'll just be doing some like shit I don't even think is legal on Instagram. I mean, they show it all, bro. Like, not just a thong going up their ass anymore. It's going up the front too, and they're, crawling over their camera phone so you could see everything. I mean, they're doing full nudity, all that stuff, bro. And people in the comments are complaining to these pages like, man, I'm going to stop unfollowing you. This is bullshit. You keep posting this stuff. And these page owners are responding and saying, what do you expect from us? We're trying to make money, man. So these chicks are paying, these content creators on OnlyFans are finding all these pages that have hundreds of thousands of followers, and then paying, and they that seem to be majority men following these pages too, like shootout videos and crime and deadly scenes and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden some porn chick shows up on one of their posts, and it's always the latest post, and then it's gone the next day, bro. And so they're saying like, hey, give us a break. We're just doing it for 24 hours. This is how we're monetizing. Like, don't be mad about it. It's the only way we could do it. And people are just like, nah, we're out. But that's essentially what's happening is like these OnlyFans girls are buying some time on people's Instagram pages that have huge followings.
They must be hard up.
I don't think they're hard up, bro. I think they're they're capitalizing.
Marketing.
They're capitalizing.
They got to pay $100 to be on a page where it's all men that have nothing to do.
I don't know. I feel like OnlyFans is just so diluted.
It's a scam. It's delusional.
I just think, man. So what? I've read a couple books on marketing because I want to understand how to market my businesses better. And there's a book called "Marketers Are Liars," and what they talk about is essentially how you need to create your marketing content in a way that makes the consumer lie to themselves about why they need it, right? And so what you're seeing is just really clever marketing by these chicks. They must have teams because they don't have the brains for it, clearly. You know what I mean? But
Andrew Tate.
But like, yeah. But here's another thing. Like think about like girls. You know, you ever see those meme videos and stuff that they'll pop up where a girl's pulling out a measuring tape and it's 12 inches long. And she's like,
yeah,
and she shrinks it to 9 inches. Nope. 6 inches. No way. 3 inches. Thumbs up. You know, and every micro penis dude out there is like, that's my fucking bae. She wants me, and they sign up and they pay money. It's total marketing strategy, bro. You know what I mean? They're going after people emotionally and mentally, bro, and they're giving them a reason to convince themselves why they need to do that. It's actually genius, but just kind of disgusting in the manner that they're doing it, man.
So, you know, a lot of these like famous OnlyFans girls, they do have teams.
Yeah.
And it is not them that are chatting.
It's messaging. Sure. Yeah. They usually use like somebody from the Philippines, or else they have like, they got real teams.
Yeah, they outsource it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Abdul in India is looking at your D pics, bro.
Yeah. Every single time I'll
rating them.
Every time we bring it up as OnlyFans, penis pills and gambling, those three things are something they're trying to plague our society with today. Like
10 years ago, you'd get kicked off of Instagram for even showing cleavage, bro.
Yeah.
And now these chicks are butt ass on there and they're getting away with it. But the algorithm, you know, like or Facebook and or Meta, whatever you want to call it, they can find you if you're talking about things you're not supposed to talk about regarding like vaccinations or diseases that are out that is misinformation. They can catch you, flag you, punish you immediately. But for some reason, their ability to fact check and find things that aren't allowed stops short of perversion and child porn. It's wild, bro. It's absolutely wild. So it's all staged. It's all set up, man. This is what I believe places like China, potentially Russia, all these, Iran. This is why I say we're in World War III, because this is, I believe, the doing of nations at war with us. Yeah. We're just seeing we're seeing biological warfare. We're seeing digital internet warfare, bro. Like we're seeing crazy things happen. They're destroying us from the inside out.
That's where the trans thing came in.
Yeah. That's like all of it. Yeah.
TikTok.
Here's the crazy part, bro. This has all happened before.
What do you mean?
The Jews and the Nazis fought for the same reasons, man. Indoctrination, perversion, homosexuality, all that stuff was part of what was going on during that time in World War II. It was there, bro.
Okay.
I do want to talk about the Afghan thing that you sent yesterday, maybe. Said that we were going to go back to Afghanistan. We were going to put troops on the ground in Afghanistan again.
The airport.
Yeah.
I don't think that was true.
It was fake?
I haven't really seen anything else.
I was going to say, that would be insane to do.
I haven't seen anything else about it.
Okay, good. Because I was like, that doesn't make any sense. We just left. To go back would be pretty silly after people dying.
I haven't heard anybody talk about it at all.
Yeah, we never said anything about it. We just, like, surprise face. So I was like,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, let us know what you guys think about this one, the OnlyFans thing. Is this just an OnlyFans issue? This is about how far people are willing to go for attention, or how we as viewers either feed or fight that. So comment down below. Let us know what you guys think, and hopefully we can get some responses on our next show. So for our final segment here, let's take a look at rocket deals and red flags, the Ryan Routh arms trafficking case. So an American citizen, a Ukrainian missile, and a plot that sounds like a movie, but is real. An American was just caught trying to buy a missile system out of Ukraine, and you're probably just now hearing about it. Introducing Ryan Routh, a U.S. citizen indicted by federal prosecutors for allegedly attempting to buy a MANPAD, a shoulder-fired surface-to-air missile, from an arms supplier in Ukraine. The purpose of the buy is still unclear, but the feds say he was looking for portable missile firepower with serious implications. So what is a MANPAD and why does it matter? This isn't just any weapon. This is military-grade firepower that can take down commercial airliners. MANPAD stands for Man-Portable Air Defense System. It's a shoulder-launched missile system, often heat-seeking and used to shoot down aircraft. They're heavily restricted under international arms laws and illegal to possess or trade privately in most of the world, including the U.S. These weapons are high priority in arms trafficking busts due to their potential use in terrorism, assassination, and attacks on civilian or military aircraft. The plot, how the feds got him. This wasn't a sting, it was worse. It was international surveillance and tracked communication. Routh allegedly reached out to an arms supplier in Ukraine, possibly through a black market channel. The U.S. government, monitoring arms transfers amid the Ukraine war, got wind of the request. Court documents reveal intercepted communications where Routh expressed interest in acquiring shoulder-fired rockets. He was arrested before completing the transaction. He faces charges under the Arms Export Control Act and federal weapons trafficking statutes. So the legal and political fallout here, this is the kind of thing that rattles national security agencies and makes headlines overseas. Routh could face decades in prison if convicted, raises major concerns about war zone weapons leaking into civilian hands, whether U.S. citizens are being radicalized or recruited into the underground arms market, and how secure Ukraine's weapons stockpiles really are, especially those provided by NATO and the U.S. So there's so many red flags and so little coverage here. So what the hell did he plan to do with it would be one question. How many other Americans are out here trying to get war weapons? And does this shine a light on something darker, like domestic plots or black market coordination? Is this a one-off nut job or something organized? What are your thoughts?
It's not a one-off nut job, obviously.
No way, for sure not. He's just the one that got caught so far.
Yeah.
So nobody just like randomly finds people in Ukraine that are weapons dealers.
And think to get a MANPAD too. I didn't even know what this was prior to.
No, there's deeper connections here that we're not being told about, obviously.
Yeah. So this Ryan Ruth guy, did he attempt to assassinate President Trump?
He was the one that got busted on the golf course.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought.
Who clearly doesn't have any skill set in weapons or assassination or anything. So how he was connected to make this potential purchase is a whole nother conspiracy in itself. Because the dude got caught because he was sticking the nose of his rifle out too far through the fence. You know what I mean? Like that's it. I mean, I'm not a real sniper, but I wouldn't be that stupid, bro. You know what I mean? I've watched enough, war movies and sniper movies and shit to know you got to put some bushes on the head of that rifle, bro, and make sure no one can see it.
They shot 6 times, but didn't hit.
Hit nothing.
Yeah,
like it's wild, bro.
The whole thing stinks.
Yeah,
the whole thing stinks.
Yeah. It doesn't add up. As much as this guy allegedly was, making these arms deals internationally, it doesn't add up that he was even fucking capable to make the connection, bro.
Yeah.
So it's weird. So someone's holding his hand and walking him down the aisle with this nonsense. That little
dweeb that tried to shoot
that we know nothing about, coincidentally. But we know everything about that special forces guy that blew up the Tesla truck. You know what I mean? We got all his data. Coincidentally, his ID and everything survived the explosion inside of there. But we don't know nothing about this kid
that scrubbed his social media, and then I had like a bunch of cell phones, and they couldn't hack into his cell phone.
Yeah, everything was encrypted.
His communication was untraceable. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. And his house was completely wiped
clean.
And he lived with his parents, bro. I mean, none of it adds up. Hopefully, we're gonna get some info because I did see, was it somebody? I don't know if it was Tulsi or somebody announced that they have information on a potential setup within government. And is it Jack Dorsey that they're accusing of potentially trying to be involved in the hit on Trump? I don't quote me on that, but I just remember loosely reading some stuff like that today. I was skimming.
Jack Dorsey's the former owner of Twitter.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure. I just think like, what are we talking about here? Why? How can we have 2 assassination attempts on a president and like it's just swept under the rug? I mean, it was done before, but there was no media coverage after 3 days. Like,
yeah, we sweep it under the rug every time they fail on something, bro. They wash it out real quick.
It's insane.
CNN just happened to be there during that
live airing. Yeah. They've never live aired a presidential speech, but they were that day, that moment, bro. And thank God they were, because it was their live video that showed everyone how it really went down in real time, bro. So we didn't have to speculate editing or none of that stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? But then you can see the bullet flying too. They got it. They got them $100,000 cameras out there, bro, catching it for us live. And
it's insane to think like how it could have been seen as a setup a lot easier than it did. Like the fact that he got hit, other people died, is like the biggest tell of like this could have been a setup, but it's not because he got hit and somebody got like killed all the way.
No, it was
like,
a catch-up packet, bro.
Yeah.
You know better.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's insane.
Like we don't have, if we were going to fake that, like we don't have better things than a ketchup packet to pull it off with, bro. Like that's got to be the most stupid conspiracy I've ever heard.
Ketchup packet.
Ketchup, like instead of like some, some
right, so
really
he had it in
high
his
grade, movie fucking, cinema movie making fake blood packets or like there's so many better ways.
Fake ear or
you
something.
know what I mean? A fake ear, you just pull a string in your coat and blood draws. You know what I mean? Like there's so many things that you could speculate. But a ketchup packet just kills it from you, bro.
Well, but and then like the person who got shot behind him is the one that really throws me. It's like, well, I'm pretty sure they said he got shot in his face. Yeah. So like, that doesn't add up.
One person died, 2 people pretty critically injured.
Yeah. So you're gonna say the 8 people that got covered in this man's blood?
He counted his bullets and he knew which one was a blank, bro.
Yeah.
So he fired 2. Then the blank, and then another one, and that's what hit people and killed someone.
So wild.
But the blank shot was the one where he hit himself in the ear with a ketchup packet when he went to the ground, bro. Wild, huh?
Stupid.
It could be it, though. That could be it.
Bro, you just never know these days, I guess, You just never know.
Hey, I wouldn't put it past anybody at this point.
I just, again, that's what bothers me is that I can't believe like Trump is not publicly stating or giving us updates.
Right. Especially about his own assassination attempt.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's like,
come on,
okay,
man.
if you guys are investigating, well, can you give us anything? Like anything on these 2 guys?
We'll just say we're looking in it. I want to hear him say
We're
it.
going to
though.
get to the bottom of this one way or the other is what I'd love to hear come out of his mouth.
Cash hasn't said nothing. Like, what the fuck is it?
I don't believe in that guy one bit, dude. No,
Yeah, he's really losing me. He's really losing me hard and
It's
fast.
not looking good.
Yeah.
You just can't talk yourself up like that and then do absolutely zero when you get in. Like he said, I know these things. I've seen these things already. I'm gonna get them to you day 1, and now we're 4 months in, and
so it's one of 2 things in my opinion, and this is just me trying to save some hope. But either they're completely corrupt and bullshitted us all the way through, or they had no idea of the level of power that existed at that stage and above. And soon as they got into that position, the boss showed up and said, yeah, and all that shit you were speaking, that ain't happening, and here's why.
Yeah, and you're done.
And they had to fall in line, bro.
Yeah.
They didn't have a choice. It could be as simple as like, your family, they won't be there tomorrow if you don't follow the rules. They don't have to compromise people at that level, I promise you. They just have to lay the threats down nice and hard, bro. So you just never know.
I don't know. It sucks. It really sucks. We had such high hopes.
Yeah.
And the whole Kennedy files, and we still haven't seen Martin Luther King or RFK files.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and then Lord knows if we'll ever see the episode.
It's almost like they're walking us down the path of conspiracy theories intentionally and just flooding us with all kinds of them. By doing things like this, they'll only leave us to speculate even harder and get more people involved in it, because some of this stuff, most people didn't understand there was conspiracy theories behind JFK, MLK, and RFK and all that shit back in the day. Now they do understand it, and they got a broken promise about it after they got curious, and now they're like, oh, fuck. So the conspiracy theories got even bigger, man. And trust me, I've seen plenty of people go manic over conspiracy theories in the recent 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So it could just all be part of the game plan, the divide and the mental destruction of mankind in the United States or the world at that, man, because how many people do we know that are all fucked up in the head right now over everything that's been going on the last 5 years?
Yeah.
There's some kind of game being played here. I don't know if it's real enemies or if it's enemies within, man, but it all looks feasible or plausible. It's crazy. Well, that's all I got for you tonight, guys. Anything else you want to add to it?
One last thing. What is you guys' thoughts on that stabbing at the track meet?
I don't know enough about it yet,
Me
and I've
either.
heard too many weird things, but we should probably cover it next week and bring some information on it, because I've been wanting to dig into it. I just haven't found the time, because I don't know, literally I don't know enough. I know that there's people that said it was racially driven by the white boys who were like white supremacists, and that they were coming at this boy, and that's why he did it. But I don't understand why he had
I
know, and I don't understand why he had a knife on him at graduation. He was prepared to do that either.
It was a track meet.
Do a quick.
Oh, okay. Track
do a
meet.
quick little walkthrough. I heard what happened, but I didn't know they're white or black.
Have you guys you've been to a track meet?
There's been a GoFundMe for that kid now too.
Okay, so after usually a track meets, like all the schools will have their own little areas where they sit because the track meets are all weekend.
Yeah.
So it's my understanding that these two brothers had a spot that they had already picked out on whatever the lawn, and this individual, they told him to leave, and he wouldn't leave, and a fight started to ensue, and then the kid pulled out a knife and stabbed him. In the chest. I think it was in the chest.
But they weren't white supremacists.
How do you prove that? I don't know. Like,
I'm sure there's witnesses and people who know them that can vouch.
The only proof that I had was them holding up guns and saying they're white supremacist. I mean, they're 17-year-old kids.
But they claimed it?
No, like the people that
showed the pictures with the guns and said these are white supremacists.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
There's
and see, that's why I'm saying I don't really know.
Nazi flags are going like this. Like,
they weren't doing the Elon salute?
Yeah, so I mean,
that don't make that. They definitely ain't.
The mainstream media is going to take this and run with it.
They're high schoolers or college kids?
It's high school.
Yeah, they want to paint it in the favor.
What? They had guns.
No, this is like just
a picture they had
like
of and people were saying they were
holding guns up in the air.
People said they were airsoft rifles.
Okay.
Like
they took a picture holding airsoft.
Yeah, you don't hold guns in the air. Your parents never taught you how to hold a gun and like.
No, they were holding it like this.
Okay.
Yeah,
you made it sound like
a fuck?
That's what you did.
Who cares?
I would definitely give a fuck.
That I'm holding it like this?
Yeah, if my brother was doing that, I'd go slap the shit out of him.
People will take pictures like this?
That's different. You're somewhere where you're about fighting, not on the streets.
They're out in the fucking woods.
Yeah, they were like out in the wilderness.
I never seen this photo.
I know.
You went like this.
This is why I said
gun up like this.
This is why I said we gotta hold the conversation for another time because we got to get our facts and details.
Does that make them a white supremacist?
If somebody I knew was hanging out with people that didn't know how to hold a gun, and as a high school kid, I would be like, don't hang with that person anymore.
What?
I don't trust people like that. I don't know. I don't have.
You would have hated the hood.
Are you serious? Just because
I would not. Like I would hate the hood. Yeah. Exactly,
bro. In California, for 4th of July and New Year's, they fire pistols off in the air like crazy.
I don't trust people. That's all right. I trust my family the most, and that's not even a lot. Some of them, you know, like I'm not trusting.
So if it's an airsoft pistol, do you still feel the same way? If they were just taking a picture, and it was just for a profile,
that's fine.
Like,
that's what it is.
But if it was a real gun and just a picture they were taking, that would bother you.
No, if they're taking a picture with a gun, that's different. If they're aiming guns into the air, like while they're taking a photo, I would say that's probably not ideal. It's not really how you're supposed to. You're not supposed to carry a gun like that.
Oh, for sure, I agree with you. Yeah. But in a picture, I don't know.
It's just a picture.
It's not like it's Photoshopped. They're still doing it in real life.
Shooting off a round or anything.
That's fine. Don't care. That's like saying, okay, so in rap videos, which I have some experience with seeing these things, is people are aiming what they say are props at people's hands or at something that is a person, or even just in the direction of not people but a doorway. If I see you waving a gun around, it's just like doing a music video with a gun.
They're not waving it around.
It's a photo, that's why. But they obviously got into the position for the photo. If you're bringing a gun
do you think,
above your head,
do you think they went like this?
No, probably not.
No, probably not.
But if they're next to each other and they didn't do this,
one was like this, the other one had it in the other hand.
Okay, but I'm saying I wouldn't trust anybody like that is treating a firearm that way. Yeah.
But how does that make them untrustworthy?
I don't know them. I personally wouldn't put myself in that situation, is what I'm saying. Let's see it. The black kid killed him? Or the black kid got killed?
One of them died. One of the boys died, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Jesus, John.
You got to go. No, John.
That was a bad search.
Go track me, dude. Put track meet at the end. God.
I'm not used to looking up racial stuff, okay? Chill. All right, so these are the boys.
So the black dude had a knife.
At a track meet.
At a track meet, which is weird to begin with in itself. That throws me off right away and makes me say, okay, what's really going on?
And he admitted it. Like, he admitted to the police, like, yeah, I stabbed him.
What is he gonna lie? Yeah, I don't know how he's gonna.
And look at every picture, like the pictures they try to show of them too. Like they make sure they show them looking crazy and ruthless. See, they're about peace, bro.
Yeah, those guys look nice.
Yeah, pictures nowhere to be found now. They're scrubbing it.
They look like just normal dudes, I guess.
I wouldn't call them white supremacists. That's all. I'm just saying I don't really hang with
No, that's
people
what the headlines are,
that.
though. The headlines are saying that they were white supremacists.
Like, you don't hang out with me when I hold my gun around in the air, do you?
I wouldn't give a fuck, dude.
Yeah, but would you be like, why are you doing that?
Like going like this and pointing?
No, not pointing it at you. But if I was just like waving it around, even if I had it around, even if I had it out in like if we weren't,
if you wanted to take a picture, I'd be like, fuck yeah.
All right.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. 2 guns on my shoulders.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. I'll do that next time we go to the range. I'll be like, take a sick photo of me, and then
there's a picture
accidentally shoot in the air.
This or some
You're in the military.
Look,
you are trained with weapons, not a 16-year-old kid.
There you go, right there.
This is the photo?
That got you pissed?
No. They shouldn't be shooting guns at night. They shouldn't be shooting guns at night. Are they hunting?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing.
Does that make him a white supremacist?
No, I'm not saying they are white supremacists. He got stabbed. He probably was defending himself a little bit. He shouldn't have a knife. He should have fought him with his hands.
I just want to know what was the reasoning behind them confronting him and what made him want to stab them.
There's also obviously hundreds of people at these track meets.
I don't care about that.
Sure.
What does that matter?
I'm just saying, like, if you're defending yourself, that argument kind of gets tossed out.
I mean, he should have fought them with his hands.
Yeah.
So obviously there's previous beef to this. It's not like he just like was like, hey, get
is that why you brought a knife?
Probably.
Well, he's fucking toast.
Is he dead?
The black guy?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, well then
he's in jail.
I mean, somebody died and he's gone. So I don't say it's right. I'm just saying one person died and it wasn't him. Yeah. So
let's dissect this next week.
He's in prison.
I get that. He's gonna probably be charged as an adult too. I would guess if he's not 18.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it depends on if he can call it self-defense or not. And it seems like they're
not if you bring a knife.
It seems like
I don't think if you bring a knife, you have to be charged with something.
I mean, what's the reason for having the knife on him? First of all, we have to know that. And if you know attorneys, they're going to find a reason for this track meet kid to have a knife on him. It might be to cut straps or do who knows, bro.
Twins just posted something too, and
it's in Frisco, Texas, I believe.
Yeah, and I think that kid had a record already too.
The black kid.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
That's wild.
But I think the point to this story, if this is the case, if these two white boys aren't actually white supremacists and it was just a scuffle between some teenage boys beefing, then it certainly looks like the media is trying to protect the narrative here because the black kid can't do anything bad. The white kid's got to be the bad ones in this. By the way, the media is trying to spin it, and that's something that they commonly do right now.
2.0.
Yeah, they're looking for that. If that's the case, I'm saying that would be what they're doing. Otherwise, like, what is the reason? We need way more details and information than we're getting, and it's weird that we're not getting more. Yeah. I'll say that.
Without speculation, I can only speculate. So that's all I can say. I mean, I'm not going to stick up for any of them. Obviously, a kid died, and that's very unfortunate. So
yeah, for sure.
Like, I don't know.
But you can stab somebody and it be self-defense. You just got to prove that the knife wasn't there for that reason.
Yeah,
you just happen to have it on you, and luckily
it's gonna be like I brought it to defend myself because these guys have been picking on me. Would you say that's right?
But he went over to their area, so
he wanted to test him.
See, I thought I've heard so many versions of the story. This is why it's crazy, because the version I heard is that they went and tried to remove him from his seat. They told him to sit somewhere else, and that's what started this shit. They were harassing him and picking on him. I didn't know he went to them. Everyone makes it sound like they went to him and confronted him and told him to leave from where he was.
See, I thought it was during a race.
Like the girl who smacked the other one in the head.
I thought it was during a race and somebody was running around and the person was on the track and he said, "Hey, move," like as he was running past, and then he ran by again. And then the person stabbed him. That's what I thought.
If that was the case, bro, my defense would be, hey, you remember that girl that just got hit in the head during a relay? I had this knife on me for protection.
Yeah. And he ran up and stabbed him?
Yeah.
That's insane, dude.
Who knows,
imagine the person who died, like I would hope that he he was bad. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
That sucks. That's like a terrible way to go out.
It's crazy, man. We live in a crazy world. That's for
his
sure.
brother watched him die.
Yeah,
like he tried.
That's even worse.
So
sucks.
I don't know. I'll save my judgment for another dime, but
yeah, I'm gonna do some digging and we'll bring it up.
I'll have
next
to look
week
it up
sure.
more.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot for checking us out. Let us know what you think of these topics. Get down in the comments. Let's get some input from you guys. See what you think. Let's have some conversation and some dialogue about it, and maybe we can talk about it on the next episode. Otherwise, in the meantime, don't forget to like, subscribe, share the channel. Tell your friends about us. Don't tell your friends about us. Talk good, talk bad. It does not really matter as long as you're talking about us. Peace.